Throughout this assignment, I take a deeper look into the negative effects of corn throughout the United States and how it affects everyday lives. Corn has affected millions of unaware and uninformed lives all across America, so I thought it would be a great idea to let you guys know a bit more about this processing matter. Maize, more commonly known as corn, has been utilized by humans since as early as 2500 BC. Largely thought to have been discovered in Mexico, corn is not now grown everywhere. However, the most notable of places is the United States of America. Since the times of Mesoamerica, corn production has changed dramatically. Similar to the most foods that dominate supermarkets today, corn mass produced on a worldwide scale to be accessible and cheap. However, this has had many negative effects on the lives of people. The amount of corn being produced has reached such a high level that in the United States, 30% of the land has been devoted to the production of corn. Corn production is concentrated in the Heartland region. This includes Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, eastern portions of South Dakota, and Nebraska, western Kentucky, Ohio, and the northern two-thirds of Missouri as well. Corn has been developed into more than just a food source. Due to advances in science and technology, corn is becoming a building block for other foods as well as a non-food item. Today, upon entering a supermarket, every individual is faced with a cornucopia of food options. However, the vast selection is primarily just, quote, clever arrangements of corn. Unfortunately, the mass production of corn has actually done more harm than good. Although it has helped with increasing food supply and having corn prices drop significantly, the effects have been almost completely negative instead. The mass production and utilization of corn in the food industry has had an adverse effect on the overall health of Americans. Next, I will be focusing on the negative effects of corn and how the mass production of corn has become unhealthy throughout the United States. Mass production and consumption of corn has led to harmful effects on the well-being of health of Americans. The current health issues are affecting the younger generations of America, causing lifespan and overall health to be significantly worse. The mass production of corn has led to misfed cows and high fructose corn syrup, which in turn has contributed directly to health problems such as diabetes and E. coli poisoning. The major problem remains that currently, due to Americans' reliance on corn, to stop production would be ludicrous. Thus, the already poor humans will only continue to get worse. Furthermore, the current trend of the life expectancy shows that since corn has become such a prominent ingredient in food, for the first time in history, Americans will have a shorter lifespan expectancy than their parents. Drastic changes need to be put in place to fix the broken food industry. Most of these changes that need to be implemented are changes in the structure of the industry and government. In order to rid the food industry of all greed and profit-driven people, that the best step forward is actually a large step backwards. Ceasing subsidize and bringing back to the integrity to farming would be the first step to fixing the corrupt food system. In conclusion, my last point will focus on what corn is now primarily being used for throughout the United States and how it is affecting everyday lives. Historically, corn has been used as a food source. However, due to recent technological advancements, as well as various subsidizes, corn has become a dominant resource in the United States. As a resource, corn is being used for mainly everything except for food directly eaten by humans. 10% used for sweeteners such as high fructose corn syrup, 32% is exported or turned into ethanol, and around 55% is used to feed animals. Iowa has become one of the biggest corn producers. However, the corn being grown throughout the United States is not the common corn which is consumed on American dinner tables. Quote, "If you're standing on a field in Iowa, there's an immense amount of food being grown, none of which is edible," end quote. Corn has become a common crop used for feeding livestock and other animals. The majority of corn is used for this purpose. This is the main reason why corn is found nearly in all of the food consumed by Americans. Pollan describes the relationship between corn and meat consumed by Americans. Quote, "Corn is what feeds the steer becomes the steak. Corn feeds the chicken and the pig, the turkey and the lamb, the catfish and the tilapia, and increasingly even the salmon. A carnivore by nature that the fish farmers are re-engineering to tolerate corn," end quote. Farmers have started to train the animals to eat corn, none of which these animals are naturally consumers of corn. However, because of the corn is being subsidized, farmers feed the animals more corn to fatten the animals and to cheapen up the prices. Due to the mass production of corn has become a cheap building block for countless other materials and productions. Overall, the use of corn throughout the United States has become to an all-time low due to all the negative effects. Corn throughout the United States is becoming more and more unhealthy, eventually having the U.S. subsidize and put citizens' money towards helping corn become cheaper, eventually dropping prices. These harmful effects of corn